What kind of secrets are hiding in your favorite songs? We're not just talking about hidden lyrics. We're talking about chart-topping hits built on a foundation of lies and the exploitation of artists you thought you knew. The music industry has a dark history it would rather you forget. Today, we're digging up the scandals they fought to keep quiet and revealing a world far more sinister than you ever imagined. And this isn't just tabloid gossip. These are proven stories of fraud, abuse, and deception that went all the way to the top, involving Grammy winners, iconic producers, and the powerful figures who pulled the strings. Behind the platinum records and sold-out tours are stories of shocking crimes and personal tragedies. So, let's get into it. First up, a scandal so infamous it basically broke the music industry's brain. In the late 80s, the pop duo Millie Vanilli, the charismatic and very photogenic Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan were on top of the world. Their album, Girl You Know It's True, was a monster hit, selling millions and even bagging them a Grammy for Best New Artist in 1990. They had the looks, the dance moves, and smash hits like Blame It on the Rain. But there was one tiny problem. They weren't actually singing. The whole thing was a brilliant, cynical fake, masterminded by German producer Frank Farian. He'd hired talented studio singers to record the songs and then just slapped Rob and Fab's faces on the cover. The duo lip-synced every single performance, including at the Grammy Awards ceremony. The lie started to crack during a live show on MTV when their backing track started to skip, repeating the line, "Girl, you know it's," over and over. They panicked and ran off stage. The whispers got louder until November 1990 when Farian himself came clean and admitted the whole thing was a sham. The backlash was swift and brutal. In an unprecedented move, the Grammys took back their award, the first and only time in history that's ever happened. The scandal torpedoed their careers, sparked lawsuits from angry fans, and serves as a wild reminder that sometimes the industry values a pretty face over a real voice. If you were alive in the late 90s, you lived in a world built by boy bands. And the man behind the curtain for the biggest of them all, the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, was Lou Pearlman. To the public, he was a pop genius. Behind the scenes, he was running one of the biggest and longest Ponzi schemes in American history. While his bands were selling out stadiums, Pearlman was using their fame as a cover to scam investors out of hundreds of millions of dollars. He invented fake companies, including a completely fictional airline, and used forged documents to get people to pour money into his schemes. The massive success of the boy bands made it all seem legitimate. He paid about $300,000, while Pearlman had pocketed over $10 million. It turns out, he had secretly written himself in as a sixth member of both bands to take an extra cut of their profits. Eventually, it all came crashing down. Investigators uncovered the Ponzi scheme in 2006. Pearlman fled the country but was arrested in Bali in 2007 and sentenced to 25 years in prison, where he died in 2016. He left behind a string of hit songs and a wake of financial and personal destruction. For more than a decade, Brittney Spears was one of the biggest stars on the planet, but for 13 of those years, she had almost zero control over her own life. Following a very public mental health crisis in 2008, Brittney was placed into a court-ordered conservatorship run mostly by her father, Jamie Spears. What was supposed to be a temporary safety net became a permanent prison. Under this legal arrangement, her father and his team had final say over everything: her money, her career, her medical care, and even her personal choices. Even while she was earning millions from world tours and Vegas residencies, she was allegedly forced to work against her will and denied the right to make basic decisions about her own body. For years, this all happened mostly in the shadows. But then came the Free Britney movement, a fan-led campaign that started asking hard questions about why a global superstar needed such an intense level of control. The movement exploded, and it all led to Britney's own shocking court testimony in June 2021. For 23 straight minutes, she called the conservatorship abusive, claiming she was drugged, overworked, and traumatized by the complete loss of her freedom. The public was floored, and the legal fight went into overdrive. Finally, on November 12, 2021, a judge terminated the conservatorship, ending a 13-year saga that exposed just how easily a system meant to protect someone can be used to control them. And believe me, these stories are just scratching the surface. The music world is packed with secrets they'd rather you never hear about. If you're as fascinated by this stuff as we are, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Phil Spector wasn't just a producer, he was a revolutionary. His wall of sound technique completely changed music in the 1960s. He was the genius behind hits for the Ronettes, the Beatles, and so many more. A true rock and roll legend. But all that musical genius would be completely overshadowed by one night of horrifying violence. Spector was always known for being erratic, with stories floating around for years about him pulling guns on musicians in the studio. His brilliance was always tangled up with a dangerous personality. In February 2003, that danger turned deadly. Police were called to his California mansion, where they found actress Lana Clarkson dead from a gunshot to the mouth. Spector claimed it was an accidental suicide, but his driver told a very different story, testifying that Spector walked out of the house and said, "I think I killed someone." The case became a media circus. His first trial ended in a hung jury, but the prosecution didn't give up. In 2009, Phil Spector, the musical icon, was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 19 years to life. The man who built walls of sound would spend the rest of his life behind prison walls, where he died in 2021. Some scandals go beyond money and lies into something much darker, the abuse of power to prey on the vulnerable. Two names stand out as truly horrifying examples: R. Kelly and Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter, real name Paul Gadd, was a 70s glam rock superstar, famous for his wild outfits and stadium chant anthems. But while he was on top of the charts, he was a predator. For years, he used his celebrity to sexually abuse young girls. The allegations finally caught up with him decades later, and in 2015, he was convicted and sentenced to 16 years in prison for abusing 3 girls between 1975 and 1980. In a similar chilling story, R&B superstar R. Kelly sold millions of records and won Grammys, all while rumors about his abuse of underage girls followed him for decades. He was acquitted of child pornography charges back in 2008, but the allegations never went away, and they blew up with the 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly. The series gave a voice to countless women who detailed years of horrific sexual, physical, and psychological abuse. After that, the walls finally closed in. In 2021, Kelly was convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking, and he's now serving what amounts to a 31-year prison sentence. These cases are a grim indictment of an industry that, for far too long, was willing to look the other way as long as the hits kept coming. From fake vocals and massive fraud to a pop star trapped in a legal cage and musical heroes convicted of heinous crimes, it's clear the industry's glamorous image can hide a deeply disturbing reality. These scandals show a world where fame can be a weapon, trust can be manipulated, and the truth is often the first thing to get buried. It's a powerful reminder that behind the music we love, there are often secrets, lies, and consequences. Which of these scandals shocked you the most? Are there any other dark stories from music history that you think we should cover? Let us know down in the comments. And don't forget to check out another one of our videos right here. Thanks for watching.